excavating the ruins of Kandar with a group of my colleagues.
Candyman, talk to me.
My victim.
Time to go to sleep.
Holy crap, what a week. So, in standing here about a week after everything started, I almost feel like it didn't happen because it was such a bizarre chain of events that it just doesn't feel real yet, but I know it is, but yeah. So this video is going to mostly cover the Spookala con, but I do have some other things to throw in here. I guess just as a piece of housekeeping, more for myself than anything else. I am pushing back my Halloween Horror Nights video, probably about 2 spots behind this and another video I need to do, just because those ones are kind of more time sensitive and HHN's already late anyway. It is Wednesday, October 4th, and today is the day that Sandy Johnson, Judith Myers from Halloween, comes to the Artisan's Crypt. Hanging out here in the morning, and then I think she's getting into Orlando around midday. She's gonna come out here, we're gonna have the signing tonight, and then start filming Executioner tomorrow morning. Really exciting, also kind of terrifying, but I think it's gonna be good. It's kind of at that point now where like, can't really do too much more to prep for anything. This stuff just kind of has to happen as it happens. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I came down the day before to kind of help out getting things set up, but honestly most of the stuff was already ready to go by the time I got there. Rob kind of redressed the shop and built up a little photo backdrop area, so basically there was a booth for Sandy to sign at, and then a backdrop to take photos. Check this out, you come in, got a whole bunch of stuff over here, bunch of props, popcorn, candy, all that stuff's gonna be available tonight. Skip over the ropes. Hey look, that's a flyer for the thing we're doing. And then you get to take a little tour of the mask room here. Harry Warden, my Harry Warden actually, sitting in the middle of the place. And we're gonna have Halloween playing on VHS. You can take a whole little tour of the mask room here. Then back in the crypt itself, we got Loomis hanging out. We got Jason, some dead bodies. Whole Myers collection of Rob's back here. Way too many leaves on the floor. And then, yeah, this is where the signing's going to be happening. Got some jack-o'-lanterns I made, a prop knife that I made, and then got the photo op area with the hedge, caution tape, all the cool stuff in here. And then I think we might have some cool stuff to show on the TV as well. We had a pretty decent turnout for being the first one of these events we've held at the Crypt. And I think it was really cool just because instead of being a con atmosphere, there was a little more just casual, so people could kind of come in, they could spend a little more time talking to her, and just kind of hang out as opposed to having to like, you know, show up, get an autograph, and go kind of thing. We had the movie playing on the TVs in the shop, and overall it was just kind of a cool atmosphere. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of what was going on. I was up front, basically taking tickets for people coming in, so I unfortunately missed a lot of seeing what was going on. So if you want to see what it was like, there's a video from a live stream we did up on the Executioner Facebook page, so you can go check it out there. think the plan is to do more of these in the future with different guests, so this is just the beginning. And then the day after, on Thursday, we got to the main reason Sandy was down there with us. We started filming for Executioner. Executioner is the indie slasher movie we're working on. We being me, Rob, who runs the Artisan's Crypt, Austin, who's our cinematographer, and Michael, who is our special effects makeup guy. So we shot a pretty large chunk of the script between a couple different locations in Central Florida, including several scenes with Sandy, which was just awesome to see in person. Apparently she had not been physically on set in over 40 years, so we were her first movie in that capacity in quite a while. So after that, running on very little sleep, Rob and I got up on Friday and headed down to Tampa for Spookala. Spookala is a con I've been to, I think, every single official con of so far. They've had some like pop-up flea markets, but all the main cons I've been to since the very first one, which was about a year and a half ago. This one was a little different. It was being held in Tampa at the Florida State Fairgrounds as opposed to being held out in Ocala like it has been in the past, hence the name Spookala. Unfortunately, I have very little footage of really anything for this video. It's probably gonna be my shortest convention video I've ever done because I really don't have much to show you. I was so busy actually like doing things, I just didn't have a chance to take my camera out much. Friday was kind of just a more relaxed day. We didn't get there until a bit on the later side. It does go pretty late on Friday though, went till about 9 o'clock. But we kind of wandered around. We had flyers made up advertising our Indiegogo campaign for Executioner. So we were handing that out to some people. We talked to multiple vendors, other filmmakers, and just a bunch of people that we knew from previous cons, which was awesome. It was kind of funny, like walking in there, we just kept running into people we knew, like one after the other. Like what was supposed to be kind of a quick walk around of an area became like a much longer thing just because we kept running into people. Honestly, it felt weird not having a booth at Spookala because we're so used to it. It is like more normal for people to like come to us as opposed to us kind of wandering around and bumping into people, which is I guess why this felt kind of strange. But honestly, just with the Sandy signing and the movie stuff and everything, we just didn't have time to really get anything together for this. So just kind of take a back burner this time. Saturday was basically cosplay day for me. So the main focus midday was the Ghostface Gathering, which was an attempt to break the record of the most number of people in Ghostface costumes. Technically, I think it was just the mask was what was required for the record, but to break that record and have the biggest group of Ghostfaces possible. So the idea was that there was a Scream panel with some of the actors from the original film, and then at the end they were going to bring us all in and do the record part. They had like an RSVP thing going online, and they said that the record was 50, I believe, and that at the time, a couple days before the con, I saw that they had 60 people RSVP'd. So I was kind of questioning whether or not there would be enough. So Rob did kind of a more traditional Ghostface costume. I ended up doing a mashup of Hobo Myers and Ghostface. Tyler Maine was at this con, so I figured it'd be kind of cool to like merge the two together. So I did like the Ghostface sparkle robes, and they got a coat, vest, and hood that were all in black as opposed to the multiple colors on the RZ one. And then I did the kind of flannel layer on the inside of the coat, glued in like I did on my actual Hobo Myers costume because it's too hot to wear a second thing in there. This was actually done with like a black and white flannel to just kind of keep that theme going of, you know, Ghostface being a black robe with white mask and the kind of glittery robes and everything. I wanted to keep that vibe going throughout it without deviating too far from Ghostface. I also ended up doing the gloves from my Babyface cosplay, which is like fingerless gloves that are all weathered up. I thought they kind of fit the mood of it. And I wanted to make myself a Hobo Myers sized Buck 120 knife, but ran out of time to do anything custom, so just used my Hobo Myers knife. For the mask, I got the zombie style Ghostface mask, which I think came out around the time of Scream 4. That kind of parodies the Rob Zombie cracked mask look, and I kind of gave it a wash to make it a more yellow, not super accurate to Myers, but I kind of like the look of it, and then I cut out some spots to be like the Hobo look where it's ripped and everything. I ended up having to glue it to one of the chrome masks from Spirit just because it lost a lot of its structure, you know, being all cut up like that. And then the shroud came off of it, so I was basically putting the shroud on and then putting this over the shroud and then putting the hood up, and you really couldn't tell too much that it was multiple pieces. So they had us start kind of lining up along the side of the stage. There was kind of a little area where people would load and unload from the stage, and pretty quickly realized that there were a lot more than 50 of us. That was cool just in general, just being surrounded in a swarm of ghost faces. A lot of people doing, you know, more of the normal movie style ghost face. A lot of variety within that as well, with different masks and different robes and all kinds of things. There was a fair number of people that took their own spin on it. There were a few Dead by Daylight style ones. So a really good mix of Ghostface. Even some were like, somebody was full on Gale Weathers but had a mask with her. Unfortunately, from where we were queuing, I couldn't really hear much of the panel, but the panel consisted of David Arquette, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, the original Ghostface stunt actor Lee Waddell, and I'm blanking on his name, but the guy who played the sheriff in Scream. So a really cool assortment of actors from the original film. Once they were ready, we started kind of going in. Some people went up on the stage. I was in the group that went right in front of the stage. And we kind of just, went until people were out of room, and then we all kind of backed up from there. And I ended up being like dead center in the middle of the group. People kept flowing in. I was actually listening to, I think it was mostly Jamie, who was like, there's still more. How do they still have more? It was just people flowing in and in and in. And eventually the area in front of the stage was full, and people started lining up in front of the barricade in front of the stage in costume. So where I ended up, it's so funny because I really couldn't see around me too much with the hood and everything, but I knew Skeet was like right in front of me, like 2 people away from me. The sheriff was right next to me. Lee actually went around handing out wristbands for everybody in the group, commemorating the event. Actually, as he was handing them out, I was kind of pinned between a bunch of people, so I just kind of held the knife out and let him put the band on the knife. And yeah, they took the picture, all that good stuff, and then when the official photo comes out, I realize I am literally standing right in front of David Arquette. Like, if I had reached behind me, I would have hit David Arquette. It's so cool that I'm in the photo right next to him, but I'm also really mad at myself for not realizing it. But it was so cool to see the excitement of the cast there. They were all just commenting about how crazy it was that all these people were there. Matthew Lillard was just running around taking pictures of everything. And the grand total, 231 ghost faces. So the record of 50 got blown away by just a little bit. That was tons of fun. I'm so happy that I planned to do this. And I think they plan to keep doing these Ghostface gatherings and bring more and more people and try to break the record over and over again. So this could be something that gets even bigger and crazier as time goes on. It also is really cool that, we did the photo and everything, and then people started chanting Wes and things like that. And, I think it was kind of a really cool tribute to the guy who was behind all this too. My only real regret out of this, that mask. I like the fact that it looked different than most Ghostface masks, but being darker, it became harder to see within the group. So while I can kind of see where I am in a lot of photos, I blend in with the background way too much because everybody has these bright white masks on and I have a very dark brownish yellow mask on. Somehow in making that Ghostface costume, I managed to make it warmer than my actual Hobo Myers costume. I don't know if it's because I didn't shred like the jacket as much as I did on the Hobo Myers because I was in a rush to get it done, or if I just picked different materials that ended up being heavier. But by the time that shoot was over, I was ready to get out of that costume and chill for a little bit. So we kind of went back to the truck, blasted some air conditioning, and then I decided that I was just gonna put the Hobo Myers costume on. I was kind of at the point where it's like, well, if I don't put it on now, I might not put it on. And I had plans on Sunday as well, so I really didn't think I was going to have an opportunity to wear it if I didn't do it on Saturday. So I put it on, went back into the con for a while, and then a bit later, Rob decided he wanted to get into costume, so we went back out to the truck for him to get his Freddy costume on. So we recently got a really cool silicone Part 2 Freddy mask. So he not only has the face, but he also has the left hand made out of silicone, which looks really cool. We met up with our friend Troy, who was in a Halloween Ends costume, and we really spent a lot of the rest of Saturday just all walking around. Took a lot of pictures with different people. It was hilarious because, with the Freddy costume, with it being silicone and everything, you can emote through it really well and everything. And people had a very visceral reaction to Freddy coming up and bugging them, especially the people at the concession stand. So yeah, most of the rest of the day was spent just running around in costume and having fun. Backing up to Friday for a minute, I forgot that I actually made some purchases, just really at one booth. I ended up getting some patches. So I've been on a weird trick or treat, the 80s movie, not the modern one. So I got a trick or treat patch, I got a Halloween 3 one, and then a Chopping Mall one. On Sunday morning, I wanted to show Rob Viper Video. Viper Video in Tampa replaced Grindhouse Video that used to be there, but Rob is a big VHS collector, so I wanted to show him that shop because I knew they'd have some stuff he'd like. I don't exactly remember what he found, but I ended up going full Blu-ray mode. I picked up 4 movies, 3 of which I have not seen yet. So I picked up the one I have seen, Nightmare Beach. Then I got Fade to Black, Curtains, and The Comeback. The big thing on Sunday is we actually managed to score a panel for Executioner. I'm not sure how things really went, because obviously there was a Scream panel. I know there were other panels for particular franchises, but due to the actors' strike, I guess they weren't able to do a lot of the panels that they had been planning on. So we actually managed to get a spot. So on that panel were the 4 members of Evil Bros Productions, which is Michael, myself, Rob, and Austin. We also had Sandy, Shotzi from WWE, and Braden, who is another one of the actors in our film. Spookala offers their own like host for the panels, or interviewer, whatever you want to call it. We ended up using our friend 40, and I'm really glad we did, because I don't know how it came across to the audience, but having someone like him who kind of knows us, at least most of us, just kind of made it a more laid-back experience. He also like knows enough to know what questions to ask, so we did give him, prompts and everything, but he kind of knew what to ask and where to go with certain things, but he really doesn't know enough to like already know the answers when he's asking, so he can actually, ask out of genuine curiosity at some points. I'm sure if and when I ever see that footage, I'll be completely embarrassed by my own responses. Public speaking, not really my thing, despite doing a bunch of YouTube videos. It's just a camera as opposed to people. It did also help that I could barely see the audience because of the lights, so, that balances out. But it was a great experience. It was a cool way to be able to help promote our film. I joke, but I am excited to see more of the clips. The only clip I've seen at this point is Sandy talking about, I'm kind of comparing like doing a low budget horror film in the 70s versus now and what that was like for her. So that was really a cool moment.
How have things differed, honestly? Between working on like an indie film and then working with, Halloween, which you didn't know was going to be this conglomerate. Like you said, is your first time, Jamie's first time, obviously Rob and Austin and the team's first time really putting something together. Is there a lot of comparison there? Is it contrast? How would you say it differs?
Well, the parts that are the same is that everybody there is doing multiple jobs.
Right.
So everybody's just filling in, everybody is friends, everybody wants to just be successful, very passionate. So that's
awesome.
True for Halloween also.
Awesome.
But for me in Halloween, I think I had a total of like 8 lines.
Right.
But thanks to this guy right here.
That was 8 pages, right?
I'm going to say, like now it's considerably amplified.
I have a lot of lines.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That part's different for sure.
And now I can say I was on a panel at a horror convention with Michael Myers' sister and a professional wrestler, and a guy who was a dead body in Universal Soldier. Probably the most reductive way I could talk about Michael's career. He's worked on a lot of things, but I had to get some of the clips together for our Indiegogo campaign, and I was going through Universal Soldier pulling clips. And one of them is just his corpse laying around, so yeah, now that's how I'm going to think of him at all times. Not weird at all. After that, we went back. We kind of were checking in with Sandy over the course of the weekend, making sure she was good. Obviously, the con was taking care of her, but, I did end up getting something signed that I did not get a chance to get signed during the event at the Crypt, which was I had made this jack-o'-lantern, which is basically trying to be the one that's on the porch when young Michael comes up and murders Judith. And I couldn't decide if I wanted her to sign the front or the back, so I went for the side. So she signed it for me, which is awesome. Truly, her and her husband are both the sweetest people. I had met her years ago at Days of the Dead Atlanta, but getting to hang out with them a little bit more this time and getting to watch her work and all that. Honestly, it was just a great time. She's been attached to this project for almost 3 years, I think. I think she was the first actor given a role in the film. So it's just this weird feeling that that's finally come full circle and we filmed her parts. And I'm just itching to see them edited together now. Then I had my buddy Colin's Halloween poster. I'm always getting Colin shit signed at cons, but I brought that to Will Sandin to get him to sign it. This poster has a lot of people on it already from the original Halloween, so just trying to get some last few signatures so we can kind of wrap up that project. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I ended up getting a free photo with PJ Souls. I think Rob got her autograph, and then she was just letting everybody that was around Rob come and get photos with her. I don't really remember what happened at all. All I remember was that I was initially gonna throw up the horns with my right hand, and I'm like, wait, crap, it's Halloween. I gotta do this one. After that, the group kind of started dispersing. A few of us ended up going across the way to the Hard Rock Casino to grab dinner, and more or less took off from there. So like I said at the beginning, it's an experience that is so surreal, it still hasn't sunk in with me that it happened. I kind of wish I had more footage of it to prove it existed, but I got plenty of photos. I'm still kind of in a state of odd denial about it. particularly the Executioner stuff, just because that's been in the works for so long. We shot the teaser trailer 2 years ago, and the thing's been rewritten from page one since that point. We're currently in the middle of our Indiegogo fundraiser on that thing, and getting to both actually shoot some of the movie and then go and promote it immediately after. Like I'm saying, like this whole thing was like the first domino kind of fell, and like we could try to make little adjustments at this point, but like the dominoes are falling and you just kind of have to go with it. But it really did end up going very well for our first day of shooting especially, so I can't complain at all. It looks like Spookala might be done with the equestrian center that they've held the event at previously. I think the next 2 dates they've given are both back in Tampa at the fairgrounds. I know some people don't like it being in Tampa. I love it being there because my parents live there and I can go crash with them, which is what we did this time. This was honestly really nice. I got to spend some time with my dad as well while we were down there. So that was great. So for me, the next con is going to be Spooky Empire at the end of the month, which is like 2 weeks away from right now, which is crazy. Not gonna have a booth there either, just gonna be roaming around, probably handing out more promotional material for Executioner and just trying to have some fun. But that's it for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Later.